to your comments tonight. It's my privilege now to introduce our next guest tonight, who is Minnesota Congressman Keith Ellison, Minnesota 5th District Representative. Representative Ellison has served on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, which oversees U.S. diplomatic and national security interests throughout the world. He is a strong advocate for international fair trade, and in 2012 he actually was first introduced to MINN by one of his staff members, which is actually one of the reasons why we're here today, celebrating the Global Report release. Because one of his staff members reached out to MINN because he was leading a delegation of individuals and they were looking for specific information on organizations that work in a geographic section of Africa. And we at MINN didn't know exactly how to find those organizations, and we started doing a little bit of research and came up with a special report for Congressman Ellison. And as a result, born was the MINN Global Report. And since then we have done the report 2 times more formally, and that is the report we have here tonight. Representative Ellison serves on the Executive Committee for Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, which investigates human rights conditions and abuses around the globe. He also serves on the House Democracy Partnership, which works with legislators in developing countries to foster transparency, accountability, and constituent representation. Please join me in welcoming U.S. Congressman Keith Ellison.
How you doing, man? How's it going tonight? Awesome. You know, one of the many things that makes me so proud to be a Minnesotan is even though we are far away from both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean, far away from the Gulf of Mexico, we still are incredibly interconnected around the world. And it's because of people like you who do the work every single day. The NGOs many of you represent have a diverse mission. You're doing different things. But all of those things are incredibly important. And to the people who you are serving, your work may mean everything. And so I just want to say thank you very much for what you're doing. You know, there are a ton of issues, and the issues are in front of us, need to be confronted. But I think one of the most important things we need to do is to dispel this idea, and we can do this together, that there's something wrong with foreign aid. You know, I can't tell you how many radio shows I've been on, and I bet my colleagues can tell you the same thing. When people say, well, how are we gonna solve the budget crisis, Tom? How are we gonna solve the budget crisis? Well, just cut foreign aid. Well, in less than 1% of the budget, that's not gonna cut it, right? I mean, one time, I was talking to Madeleine Albright, you know, the great Secretary of State, and she said that somebody was asking her about foreign aid, and she said, well, why don't you like foreign aid? And the guy said back to her, well, one thing, it's foreign, and the other reason is it's aid. So we got an uphill battle, because you and I know how much good foreign aid really, really does. Books for Africa. I mean, you guys are helping to bring literacy and opportunity throughout the entire continent. Well over 1 million books and going strong every single day. That's just one NGO. And I gotta tell you guys, I love all of y'all, but Books for Africa, they help me look good. Whenever I go, and whenever I go to the continent, I always get me a fresh supply of Books for Africa books. And wherever I go, I drop off the books, and they think, you know, that I'm like the man because I'm helping them with their library. But I give you guys the credit, don't worry about it. But the point is, there are NGOs, all of you all are doing awesome and remarkable things. And I just think we've got to tell the story. And statistics are fine, and big giant numbers and percentages are fine, but the biggest number is one. The one person that you help. The one lady that Amy just talked about, who was that leader. It's not a matter of some huge number, it's a matter of one number. And Senator Klobuchar put a finger on it when she identified this woman who saw herself as an agent of her own destiny. Not a victim, but a leader. It's an awesome story, and I thank you for it. But a few other issues I just want to touch on before we move on. One, yes, we've got to tell the story about why foreign aid is important. But we've also got to talk about the successes. Like, I was recently in Kenya and in Tanzania, and I can tell you that PEPFAR, which was a George Bush program under his watch, is when he got PEPFAR. And We Americans, we literally have helped to convert AIDS from a death sentence to a chronic illness. That is something to be proud of. That is something to be proud of, and that's something you should mention to the cynics. And many of you who are dealing with pandemic illnesses all over the world should tell this story about how much of a difference that we made. And we live in an age now where whether it's Ebola or H1N1, we are all one airplane flight away from serious illnesses. So does it make sense for us to say no foreign aid, cut foreign aid, or does it make sense to say let's strengthen the health systems in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Guinea, and all over the world if we can? That's what we should do. Let's strengthen their health systems because Ebola is not necessarily going to kill you. Many people have recovered from it, and it was the weakness of the health system that put so many people at risk. We can do something about that, and we absolutely must. Now, I just want to mention the last issue, because there's so many issues to mention. And I just want to talk about the importance of remittances, because foreign aid is one thing, but if you add up all the money that Americans send to their loved ones abroad in places like Somalia, it dwarfs the foreign aid that we send. And we need to make sure that our financial systems are running in an open, smooth, and transparent way. And as we all stand together to stop terrorist financing, as we should and we must, we also got to make sure that we don't choke off these systems to the point where no money is flowing. Or it is flowing, but in a suitcase. Because the thing is that we can never give enough more money than the people who have loved ones abroad are getting from their family members. So we've got to keep this in mind, and right now, all of us have been in numerous meetings working to make sure the financial system stopped the bad money, but did not stop the good money, and we need your help. And we need your agency to keep that argument going. And and I can tell you that Senator Klobuchar has been absolutely tireless on this. Senator Franken has been tireless on this. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of my friend of many years, Tom Emmer. He and I started the Somalia Caucus to help our colleagues understand that Somalia absolutely can and must go from being a food recipient to a food partner, from being a security problem to a security partner, and being a strong, viable country. But it's going to start by making sure that the aid flows, but also the remittance flow too. And so I just want to let you know that this is something that we need your agency and your help on. Stand up for an interconnected, globally, mutually supporting world, guys. Don't back down. This is a worthy and important goal. And I'm proud of all the work that you do, and I look forward to partnering with each one of you as you move forward. Thank you all very much.